Alex sat at the riverbank, staring at the water as the sun dipped below the horizon. The same place where he had once waited for Izzy the morning she was supposed to meet him. The morning she never came. Weeks had passed, but the ache in his chest remained. The message he had received that day still haunted him.
Alex, I'm sorry. I can't meet you today. I can't meet you ever.
It had shattered him, but something about it never felt right. He replayed their last moments together in his mind. The way she had clung to him, the way she had whispered her fears, her dreams, none of it had felt like a goodbye. She had been sure of them. Yet overnight, everything had changed. Why? Desperate for answers, he retraced their steps. He revisited the cafe where she had promised to meet him. He walked through the streets where they had laughed and dreamed. Each place felt like a ghost town, haunted by memories of a love stolen too soon. Wasn't until his third visit to the cafe that a waiter hesitated before approaching him. "You were waiting for that girl, aren't you?" the man asked. Alex's heart pounded. "Yes," said. "Did you see her that morning?" The waiter nodded slowly. "She was here. But something was wrong. She looked afraid," kept looking over her shoulder. A chill ran through Alex. He had suspected something was off, but this was proof. Someone had been watching her. Someone had taken her away before she could reach him. But who? His search led him to Lena, one of Izzy's closest friends. When he asked about Izzy, Lena looked away, shifting uncomfortably.
"I don't know anything,"
she mumbled. But her eyes told a different story. Alex pressed on. "Lena, please. I need to know." Finally, she sighed, her voice barely above a whisper.
"You don't know, do you?"
Alex's stomach twisted. "Know what?" Lena exhaled shakily.
"Izzy didn't leave by choice. Her fiancé found out about you. He came that night. He took her."
The words knocked the air out of Alex. "Took her?" he echoed. Lena nodded.
"She wanted to tell you. She tried. But he took her phone. That message you got, it wasn't from her."
A wave of anger surged through Alex. The message that had broken him had been a lie. The choice that had ripped them apart had never been hers.
"She's married now,"
Lena continued softly.
"He made sure of it. She didn't have a choice."
The world spun. Izzy was gone. Not because she had wanted to leave him, but because someone else had decided for her. Determined, Alex found out where her husband lived, a sprawling estate on the outskirts of the city, surrounded by high walls. He parked his car a block away, watching, waiting. He had to see her. Hours passed before the man finally stepped out. Izzy's fiancé. Dressed in an expensive suit, he exuded power and arrogance. Alex's hands clenched into fists as he strode toward him. "Where is she?" Alex demanded. The man barely blinked.
"Oh,"
he said, smirking.
"The other man."
Alex's fury burned hotter. "I want to see her." The smirk faded.
"She belongs to me now,"
the man said flatly.
"She made her choice."
Alex's fists tightened. "She didn't have a choice," he spat. For the first time, the man's expression darkened.
"You don't understand, do you?"
he said coldly.
"Walk away. If you ever cared about her, you'll let her go."
But Alex refused. That night, he parked outside the estate again, waiting, watching. Then, just before midnight, a balcony door opened. Izzy stepped outside. Alex's breath caught. She was still the same, yet different, thinner, her shoulders hunched, as if carrying a burden too heavy to bear. But what shattered him most was the emptiness in her eyes. Then, as if sensing him, she looked down. Their eyes met. For a long moment, neither of them moved. The world stood still. Then, slowly, she shook her head just once. A silent plea. "Don't." Alex felt his heart breaking. He wanted to climb that balcony, take her hand, and run. There was something in her eyes. Fear. Not for herself, but for him. Izzy raised a trembling hand to her lips, then extended it toward him as if reaching for a ghost. Then, she turned and disappeared inside, Alex stood there, frozen. He had found her, but he had also lost her, all over again. Days passed in a haze. He no longer visited the cafe. He no longer sat by the river. Everything reminded him of her. Then, one evening, his phone buzzed. A single message. No number. Just a message.
I never stopped loving you.
Alex's hands shook as he read it. Again. And again. It was her. It had to be her. He could almost hear her voice saying it, feel her presence through the screen. Another message came through.
In another life, we would have had forever.
Tears blurred his vision. He clutched his phone, as if holding on to the last piece of her. There would be no grand reunion. No second chance. Just this, an echo of what could have been. He wanted to reply, to say something, anything, but he knew he couldn't. If her husband had found out about this message, she had already risked enough. So, he simply stared at the words on his screen, whispering them back to her in the silence of his empty room. I never stopped loving you either. He went to the river one last time, sat where he had waited for her that fateful morning, watched the water flow, endless, forward. Time never stopped, never turned back. Somewhere, in another place, another life, they were together. Happy, unburdened. But in this life, all he had left was memories. Memories and a love that would never fade. His phone buzzed again. A final message.
Be happy, Alex. Please.
He swallowed hard, forcing himself to breathe. She was saying goodbye. The real goodbye. He typed out his last message to her. I'll try. But you were my happiness, Izzy. The message was never delivered. The number was gone. She was gone. Alex sat there, phone in hand, staring at the sky. The stars blinked back at him, as if sharing his sorrow. A soft breeze rippled across the water, carrying the faintest whisper of a memory. Her laughter, her touch, the way she had once said his name like it was something sacred. He closed his eyes, letting the night wrap around him. Then, as if the universe itself wanted to offer him one last sign, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Alex exhaled shakily, accepting the fate he could not change.
Some love stories didn't need endings. Some love stories lived on forever, in the space between what was and what could have been. The last goodbye.
Thank you so much for watching that video. If you enjoyed the story and want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. And if you loved what you saw, leave a comment below or share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.